3.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. And we have a very special guest today, and we're going to be talking about the one thing, how to apply those principles to your life on a daily basis. We're going to be also going to be talking with our guest about his personal story. He's got a great one. It has a deep background in real estate and a lot of very cool stuff to share. And we'll be taking your questions as always. We are live here on Facebook, and we have, as always, in the co-pilot seat, the junior grandmaster himself, Greg McDaniel. Greg, what is up today?
Matt, I'm doing great, man. Okay, so I totally dorked out this weekend, right? I think on Friday, I went on to buy more earbuds because one of my earbuds had failed when you and I had spoken, and I'm like, Matt, what do you hear? You're like, horrible static, man. But I went on to spend $20 to get a couple of new earbuds. I walked out at $500. Ah, God. Amazon can just suck you in like quicksand. But I think I got some cool shit. Check it out. My new toy. This is the Nano 360 camera. And what it does is you mount it onto your iPhone. And then you guys right now, go follow me on Facebook. If I'm not friends with me, go follow me on Facebook right now. And I'm posting a couple of these different videos. They're working out some kinks on this thing, but for $200, man, I'm going to be, I did like a quick video of like where I had lunch today at this bar called Magaz, which is right downtown Danville. And I'm going to start doing, snapshots around that area and 360 filming. It's something that no one else is doing, and it's really, really fun. Also, I did this. My friend Stevie and I decided to keep each other accountable on working out. So I got the Fitbit. Yes, there it is. And it's working. And I can tell you, Matt, I'm the proud human being that as to date today, I've done 5,410 steps. I've walked 2.72 miles, and I've burned 1,930 calories. My longest walk was 21 minutes. Winning! So now my chubby ass is going to get thin again. I cannot wait. Even though you called me fat in the face last week. Like, Greg, you getting all around in the face? I'm like, yes, Matt, thank you. That's a true friends too. I ridicule you in public.
Pointed out that you were slightly thinner in your past videos. That's all I did. All right, let's bring in our special guest. Kurt Francis from here in San Diego joins us. Kurt, how's it going today?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Matt and Greg. It's good to be with you guys today. Very happy to be here.
Cool. Yeah, we're excited to have you. So you are an introduction from Stephen Moy, I believe, who's locally here in San Diego. And Stephen is the same one that introduced us to Bethany, who was on the show before, and Jeffrey Bean, who's been on Pursuing Results on that podcast, sharing what he knows about UX design and all kinds of fun stuff. So Stephen is a wonderful, wonderful connector, and hooked me up with Kurt. So Kurt, give us an idea of kind of where you're based at, what you do on a daily basis, and then we'll dive into your background a little bit.
Sure, Matt. So what I do on a daily basis, I'm team leader with about 260 agents in Keller Williams in the Hillcrest metro area. So we serve, the whole metro area. And I've been with the company since beginning of May this last year, leading this team. So it's been a good one.
And you moved over from another company primarily because of the opportunity to kind of get involved with the one thing. So give us a quick rundown of what you do with that.
Yeah, that's I was with another company for 12 and a half years, a great company, and was part of the executive leadership of it. I was really engaged there, and but I made it a big decision. It was one of the toughest decisions I've ever had to make. It felt like I was leaving my country again, just leaving the whole nation. That's how it felt, because I'm a relationship kind of guy. So I established relationships. So for me to leave, but the one thing is a book written by Gary Keller and co-authored by Jay Pabazan. Just, two amazing gentlemen. And they, when I saw this book, it really touched my life in quite a way. And then I was given the opportunity, because of my passion and training and my skill level to present, to come along and get certified to train with them and to speak about the one thing globally, worldwide. So there's 75 speakers for the one thing worldwide, and I'm one of them. And we've got a powerful message to take to the world, because the world's hungry for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and if anybody caught so one of the very first episodes of the Pursuing Results podcast that me and Greg ran last year, it's gonna continue on, but I think it'll be more me interviewing people rather than like a show that me and Greg tried to do together, because that was a nightmare trying to do it.
Matt kicked me off. If you really want to know the truth,
Greg off. It was too difficult to accommodate your busy schedule. But anyway, so if anybody caught the first episodes of that, we interviewed Scott Love, who was actually in the recruiting industry, and the one thing completely changed his life. And so he came on to share like his takeaways from that book. So you can go find that on Pursuing Results podcast. But yeah, there's a lot of people that, the book is getting a lot of traction outside of real estate because the principles are universal. We'll dig into the principles a little bit later on, but yeah, it's a phenomenal book. It's a great book that's definitely helped me out a lot, and I know will help a lot of people. So we'll dig into the principles of that later. But let's start. Greg, do you have any? I don't want to cut you off. I know you often have a rant, but was that it on the 360 camera? Or can we move on and take a question?
Matt, because it's you, I'm going to cut you off. No, you can't cut me off. Yes, I have a rant. I just don't know what about. I've had such a good day. I got to tell you, I got up. We had a great weekend. Did some cooking, relaxing. Not Midori, not so sour, right? Sitting right behind me here. Did our first open house. She was flooded. So we have some good traction. We went door knocking, and this is something to talk about, guys. I did my calls on Saturday, which unbelievably. It was an epic recording. But since I played Pentatonics, hallelujah, Facebook in their infinite stupidity decided to block it and take it down because I didn't have the permission from Pentatonics to play it, fuckers. But you know what? It had like 1,700 views on it right there. I got 2 leads, and then I went out and we door knocked on the house from one of the leads, talked to the lady, that was going to be making a move. She liked us. We made a connection. She gave us our email, so we're going to follow up with her. So that's just evidence, guys. One more time, if you put the effort in and you go out there and you just do these things. I spent like an hour, maybe hour and 20 minutes in the office on Saturday, and I picked up 2 solid leads. I want to encourage you guys, please, for the love of God, put the work in. You'll get the results out.
All right, so run us through just real quick. You essentially you uncovered a lead on circle prospecting, and then you said you actually went and door knocked that lady later in the day.
No, today I was on Saturday. I went and I did a door knock on her today. Okay. We do
just a quick pop by or something.
Well, no, it's we don't want to be stalkerish. So this is the subject property. You do 5 homes this way, 5 homes that way, cross the street, and do 10 homes, so that within any kind of spitting distance, that person doesn't feel like they're being targeted by Uncle Sam. You know what I mean?
It feels like you happen to be in the neighborhood and you're hitting every house along there. All right.
Yep. She's moving to Nevada, and they already have a house up there, and they're thinking of selling. I'm like, yes.
Nice.
So
I like
that's my rant. It was a positive rant today, Matt.
Good. I like positive rants from Greg. All right, let's take a question. Matt Dubner, and this is from the Lead Gen Description Objections group, which if you're not already part of, go please join it. It's fantastic. It is Aaron Wittenstein's group, and really, really good group to be a part of. So he says, what's your buyer's agent split if the agent brings in a buyer and you as the team owner has nothing to do with it? Which is a really great, it's a great question in and of itself, but it also leads us to the question of like whether you as a buyer's agent should join a team or whether you should be out on your own. So let's talk about that, Greg. Like what's the split? Like if you're working with somebody, like for example, if you hand off a buyer lead to Midori, somebody on your team, what's the split there versus if she just uncovers some opportunity in her sphere of influence?
The split does not differ. Either we hand it to her, or if she drums it up herself, or if John drums up one for himself as well. What it is we're on a scale system, and I'm going to vehemently disagree with both of you gentlemen later about the way you're supposed to run a team. It's okay. You guys can both be wrong. It's okay. There's therapy, counseling, and there's pills for you. But the way we do it, we start at 50-50, and then every deal we scale 5% more. So 50-50, then 55, then 60, 65, up to 75%. You cap at 75% because we're already paying for a lot of the prospecting. We're paying for the overhead. We're paying for everything else. So you're basically almost at a 90+% split. Plus you have the support of the team in case you go on vacation or whatever else you get sick. But that's how we scale it because we know a lot of the times that no matter what happens, we're going to be helping at some level. So I don't want to discourage you from bringing something in on your own, or I don't want to be discouraged myself by giving you something because I know I'm going to lose more money on it if I could do it myself. Then it doesn't encourage them, my other team members to feel like they're a part of the team. That's how we run ours, and it's been fairly successful with it. And Midori and John, they can go list a house or they can go represent a buyer. But if we list, we're co-listing. Everything goes under the McDaniel Callahan brand. But we want them to have some of their own brand, and they will they'll be the unofficial lead on the transaction, so they'll be the point person out to the client at all given times.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so Kurt, in your role, I mean, you're team leader, so you're talking to agents all the time, every day, and I'm sure this question comes up of whether they should even join a team or whether they just, should join as an independent or whatever the case is. So how do you help a person kind of even make that decision?
Yeah, great question. Firstly, Matt and Greg, it's all about diversity. We've got so many different teams, and the minute when you say to somebody, there's only one way of doing something, we've got to be very careful because we just limited a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's not only my way. So, we get different teams with different leaderships, and depends what they want. Some team leaders want to do it differently. Some team leaders only want 3 people, 4 people in the team. I worked with, for example, Ruth Pugh with many years, and she's at 25, 30 team members. Ruth and I have been friends for many years. And so, running her team and running another team with 2 or 3 people is very, very different. So, I first ask a lot of questions. I first want to know from the team leader, what is their expectations, number one. And then, so anybody joining them, for example, let's just use, Ruth. Ruth runs a team in a certain way. It's not a fit for everybody, but certain people, it's definitely a fit. So it depends on every single individual. It depends on every team leader, and it depends on, which company they're on. If they are a small independent or a bigger brokerage, it depends on a lot of things.
It's very true. When I talked to a lot of the new agents I talked to, they're like, should I join the team? I said, I don't know. You should probably go out and feel around and, what the different teams, how they're structured, the dynamics, the inner politics, how it works. I mean, you're going to get along with these people because essentially you're getting married to these people for the next X number of years because you're going to hear a lot of intimate things about them. They're going to hear the same about you. You got to make sure that your splits are fair. That there's not just one king on the team that dominates and you get the scrap leftovers. How is this going to be structured? Does it work for your culture? And I always say, and this is where Matt attempts to disagree with me, but I'm right, as we always know, Matt, is that, try it out for 6 months to your year on your own. And then if you just are lonely or you can't cut it or you just want to join the team because that you just want the support, then go look. But try to do it on your own first because you're keeping all the money. All right. You can go get education from our podcast, from other podcasts, from other, sources all over the place. So the education's not the problem. It's accountability that most people lack on. And if you have someone that you need to kick you in the ass once a day, then maybe a team might be good. I have a guy named Clark who's in my office here. He personally hunted me down and said, hey, my coach, wants me to do X amount of prospecting. I'm like, and he's like, will you be my accountability partner? I'm like, isn't your coach getting paid to do that? He's like, oh yeah, he doesn't want to do that. And I'm like, you gotta be friggin' kidding me. So I have called Clark and texted Clark on a daily basis and harassed him, and he has not done his cold calls and not done his follow-up.
I for one, am shocked.
Oh, it blew my mind that a real estate agent wouldn't do follow-ups. Whew. Oh, so weird.
Oh man. All right. Well, all I have to contribute on it is this. There's some interesting stats. So something like 80% of agents, 80 to 90% of agents will fail out of the business in 3 years or less. So Hank, who we've had on the show before, ex Bold coach, now independent coach, had told us that he was told in the course of training to become a coach that the entire real estate industry, like almost 100% of the industry, turns over every 3 years. Now, obviously, you've got that slice of top producers that just stay in. You can't kill them. Like, the market crash doesn't matter. They're like cockroaches in a new country. That's where I was going with that. He can't kill them. But for everybody else, it is an issue. And so I would say one of the biggest mistakes that I made back in the day was not getting a mentor and not joining a team because teams were not as big then. This was like 06, 07. So teams were just now kind of coming into being. My business partner, Jeff Cohn, hadn't even started his team at that point. He was just an independent agent. And so if something like that would have existed, I would have plugged into that system. I would have mastered the system. And then either I would have been successful enough, even with the splits, that I would have stayed in exchange for all the support. Or I could have decided at that point, after 3 or 4 years of being successful as an agent and going, okay, I feel like I can build, I'm a good enough business person where I can build out all the other systems, and I can probably cut that split from giving up 50% to only giving up 25%, because then I'll have to pay an assistant to do all this stuff for me. If I felt like I was that good of a businessman, then I can do that. I would say that's not most agents.
Right.
So most agents would most likely be happiest working with clients and not having to worry about the rest, and that's why I'm a big fan of teams. That's all I'll say on that.
Treading a little lightly there, huh, pal?
Anyway.
No, so one of the things that I actually was talking to Eileen, our team manager, the Steel Trap, that usually sits right over there, is she and I don't want to bring on any more agents onto our team. We just don't. It's like chasing cats in a rainstorm, and we're fucking sick of it. But what we are going to do is we're going to start to, if you guys want this and you're in the area, let me know. We're going to start, right now we have our ISA team, Talon Prospecting, which I'll put a link in for you guys. Dude, he's setting on average about 10 appointments a week for me, come on, guys, that's epic stuff. I can't sustain that growth, right? So I'm going to start handing out appointments to agents that I like. As soon as I get to a breaking point, it's a 50-50 split across the board. That's how I'll grow my team down the road. I will say, Matt Johnson, Kurt, here's a lead for you, Matt. Here's a lead for you, Kurt. Now, we could do one deal together, or we could do 1,000 deals together if you want to stay with deal with it. But it's 50-50 all the way across the board at all times. I don't have to maintain your ass. I don't have to corral you for doing your prospecting. It's just do the deal. You don't do the deal, I still own the lead. I'm going to retain it. I'll take it and I'll give it back to another one of the agents if you royally screw it up. But I think that might be another way that teams grow. It's like a rent a agent.
Kurt, well, this is what I'm curious, Kurt, because you're based here in San Diego like I am, but you know this market way better than I do. I've only been here for a year and a half, and I've talked to a lot of people, but like you've worked deeply with Ruth and one of the top teams in San Diego. So do you see something like that where like generating leads and handing them off to agents, or San Diego and markets like San Diego, is it just too competitive to the point where you need that on the ground personal contact from the agent in order to get an appointment?
Oh, that's a great question. Firstly, depends what kind of lead is it. Is it a lead to take a listing, or is it a lead to work with a buyer? Because most strong, strong team leaders have got a lot of momentum. They want to spend less time working with buyers and more time taking on the listings themselves. So when it comes to buying and showing 25 properties or 15 properties, whatever, they want to pass that lead on. And then when you've got the right person who's hungry enough, who wants to do a great job, that you want to keep them in the team, and they're hungry for those leads and they want to master that, and of course, convert the lead and close the transaction. When you've got the wrong people in your team, then by you giving a lead can absolutely ruin your name as team leader. And that's the thing. The team leaders have always got to protect their name, because it's their reputation going out. And if somebody is just dropping the ball, not communicating with the client, not serving the client, not seeing what the client's needs are, perhaps that person shouldn't be part of that team, and person should be released. I think I find this with a lot of new agents and myself. 13, 14 years ago, if I think about myself, I thought I knew what I wanted. And a lot of new agents think they know what they want, but when they get into it, they had no cooking clue on what this game was about. And sometimes, being in the right team can really help you with that. Sometimes I think it's best for some people to not start on a team. For some people, it's best that they don't start on a team. And others, I can understand why, And of course, the bottom line depends on, are they passionate about it? Are they going to be a hustler? Are they going to give it everything they've got?
Yeah, that is a pretty good line of figuring out whether it's right for somebody. Because if they're a hustler, if they can make it happen, there's much less of a reason for them to join a team, and they should be encouraged to go out on their own because they're hustling. And if you can hustle, you can make it in real estate. So that is a big difference. So before we dive into Kurt, your background story and a little bit about what you teach when you speak on the one thing and all that good stuff, let's remind people how they can connect with you, especially if they're here in San Diego and they're looking for an office, or they're thinking about changing companies, changing brokerages, changing offices, whatever. How do they reach out to you?
I'll tell you, the best way is my cell phone. I give my cell phone out, and I often speak to my cell phone, and I say, listen, dude, do you serve me or do I serve you? And that's a question I remind it. I said, you're not a king. I'm. So my cell phone number is 858-229-9180. That's 858-229-9180. And I love to get back to everybody. And sometimes I let people listen to my message, because my voicemail is a little bit different. And people say, don't pick up, I just want to call your voicemail. So
well, now I have to call you just to hear it. I'm picturing something like George Costanza from Seinfeld, where it's like the song, like, George isn't at home, please leave a message at the beep. All right.
I think if I did that, Matt, they'll probably put down.
So, Kurt, real question. We got a question from Wesley Brooks coming out on the page right now. There, he says, can you touch on commission splits with your team leader? So, since you ran a team for a while, do you want to take that real quickly?
Sure. Now, are you talking about a kind of small real estate team, or I
don't think Wesley means team leader in a KW sense. He means the leader of a team, which I can speak on that a little bit too. But Kurt, do you have any just rough numbers for what somebody can expect in terms of what's kind of industry standard for a team, just from your perspective?
Sure. So just remember, I've been working with teams across Southern California, and I've seen so many varieties. And one may work for one, and one doesn't work for the other one. For example, you might bring somebody on, they're brand new, they might put them on 50%, okay, for 3 transactions, and yet they take care of the whole transaction. There's no transaction coordinator fee or anything. Everything's done for that person. There are other teams that, well, we'll give you 60, 75% straight away, but you're going to pay a transaction coordinating fee. You're going to pay other costs as well, other admin costs, listing presentations, whatever marketing, material. So it really depends on the team. There's so many varieties. There's so many variables that you can't actually put them in one box, because there's so many things to consider. Yeah. And it also depends on, that team. That team's got costs, as Greg was saying earlier. The team carries a lot of costs. A team leader carries a lot of costs that often people don't realize. And because they're paying somebody to do all the transaction coordinated work, they're paying somebody to do that. And that team leader is responsible to pay that person every single month. Maybe it's a salary, or maybe it's per transaction. And that team leader might have guaranteed that person, I guarantee you 25 files per month. Well, that team leader's got pressure on. So it depends how they structure that. So it could be anything from 50%. In fact, I've seen a team who pays 40%, only 40% to a new agent. 40%. This is up in Orange County. 40% to a new agent, coming in for like 3, 4, 5 transactions, and then they make a decision, because what the team leader strongly felt there was that they are risking everything, their reputation, everything, their training, their time, their resources, everything, to somebody they don't even know. And that's a cost for the team. So they're taking the risk. They're carrying the risk. The new person is not carrying much of a risk. So, sorry to answer a question like that. There's no one set way of doing it. Absolutely not.
No, I love that you took it that direction, because I think people, people that are not yet super successful, and I wouldn't have known this other than just by talking to people that are ultra successful, is the role of risk and how much that does play into, money and income and building wealth. Just the element of who is the risk on. And I think people that come into that environment wildly underestimate the fact that somebody else is putting their money at risk to give them a job, give them a place to work, give them an office desk to show up. That, like, all those all the costs and all the risk that somebody kind of put into giving them a place to show up and work just kind of fades into the background, and they don't think about it. They don't think of it as a benefit. They don't realize until you step into that and you make the commitment to pay somebody else's payroll or support somebody else who's married and has kids. Like, I know that it's definitely different for me as I've started to take on more staff. Like, you feel that pressure and you think about risk way differently than somebody who's an independent salesperson.
Absolutely, Matt. And just, what Greg mentioned earlier on, that, I'm just being a team leader, they want everything done under their name, right? That's why they're joining the team. It's normally under one name, right? But let's say a new person comes into that team and he lasts there 3 or 4 months and he leaves. Even up to 3, 4 years later, that team leader is still sitting with liability and potential lawsuits from that somebody that was only in there for 2 months. Even if the guy goes to court, it doesn't even go on the new person's court name. I mean, it goes on the team leader's name. So the risk is higher, far higher than we actually count for. And look, 9 out of 10 times, nobody's going to get sued. Right. But let me tell you, I've been in lawsuits when it does happen, and that person is not even in that team anymore. That person is another company. 2 years later, that guy can't even remember that team's name, and then the lawsuit sits with the team leader. So that's why I'm very cautious. I'm very protective of good team leaders. I'm very protective of them because I understand the liability and risk that they're under.
Yeah, we had this douchebag that we had on our team for a little while. We had to pay this fucking guy $800 to go away. He's like a hooker. You had to pay him to leave, and he was absolutely horrible. I mean, and he bore our name, like an ex-wife. She bore my name. No, but and she was just he was just an absolute nightmare. Got the nose rub.
Oh man,
I love embarrassing Johnson.
Oh my God, well, all right. like a saucy wench. All right.
Oh, so much fun. But yeah, no, that's why I want to move this other team model, where I don't have to bring on another agent. I can rent an agent. That would be my
somebody
thing.
made that comment earlier, and Manny DeSilvia, who's watching us right now, says I would go away for only $300. So anybody who's interested in bringing on a new agent who will go away for only $300, we'll put Manny's contact info.
Oh
in the,
God.
Oh,
just shows up, like creates just an absolute nightmare. Goes, all right, that 300, and I'm gone. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah, buddy. All right. Well, let's dive into the one thing a little bit. So, Kurt, give us a little bit of an idea of your background and how you came across the book and kind of what effect it had on you.
Well, you know what? This book, you see at airports, you see it all over. In fact, it's like you just can't get rid of it once you get to know it, because, and that's even people are going to be listening today, and they're going to be at an airport or bookstore, and they're going to see it in front of them because it just kind of sticks out and stands out to one. So when I'd heard about the book, of course, you start reading it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like every single page is like something's happening to me inside. It's I always tell people, your grandmother loved you, but she lied to you. We believe so many things. We believe so many things we've been taught. We've been taught, for example, multitasking. Okay, multitasking is great. Okay, we've been taught that. In fact, I haven't done a resume for myself in, I don't know, 20 years or something like that. I wouldn't know how to do one, but I read them. And every resume, just about every single one, talks about how people can multitask. And it's like they've got to have that in there, because the expectations of corporations and universities and any organization is that you better be able to multitask. And that's one of the great lies. It's one of the 6 lies the book talks about. We can get into that later. But this book, when I read it, it was like, oh my gosh, I agree with this stuff. Oh my gosh, this stuff is, and there's so many things that I've believed in that I've never done. And because I thought, well, this is how the culture wants it. This is how America business world wants it. But it's not the truth. It's not the truth. So there's so many things that the book deals with: 6 lies and 4 thieves, 3 commitments. And the book is about belief. It's about, what do you believe, and how we can help other people to believe in it. That's going to allow them to be the people they're meant to be.
Yeah, multitasking, I've always thought of myself as, before I read the book, and I read another published study, I forget, some big Ivy League school did the study on this, and I've talked about it before on the show, that, they did a report or a study saying, when you smoke weed, you're about 5% dumber, okay? When you multitask, you're 10% dumber, because your brain is scattered all over the place. So, I mean, you can smoke weed and be smarter at your job than if you're multitasking, doing 1,000 different things, because your scatterbrain like this. I mean, the average human brain has or we hold on one subject matter for about, well, it's 1 second less than a goldfish. So it's pretty short sighted in all retrospect. I mean, I have to turn myself off. I mean, Kurt, I'm sure you do it too. Johnson, I'm sure you do it as well. I mean, I will stop doing things, or I'll just put things to the side, because I will get I'm like, here. I'm like, oh shit, where's oh yeah, that's what I was doing over here. And I never get anything done the time frames that I should do. So I think, Kurt, it's really important that people really understand that. What have you found to be a good way to not multitask?
You know what? Number one, start off with just what you said. Put your phone off. Okay, like my phone is off now doing this thing. And I remember when I went on a 3-week certification in November, I put my phone off.
Sorry, put this down.
Hang on,
exactly. But that was my biggest challenge, was to put it off literally for 3 days. And I've only put it on the evening, and then off again the next morning, and didn't put it on once during the day. And it really took everything out of me to do that. But it changed me. And often when I'm sitting with people now or having a meeting, I turn my phone upside down or put it off, and I'm making a decision that I'm not going to multitask. Because you see, people don't understand what is multitasking. They think, well, you can't do 2 things at once. Well, you can. I can walk and I can talk to you at the same time. I can do 2 things, but I cannot focus on 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
And during the workshop, there are 3 things that I do. I show 2 videos on multitasking that blows everybody's mind every single time I do the workshop. And I say, oh my gosh. And then there's a little exercise that I do that proves, and you can bring anybody in who says they can multitask. Bring them. I want to do the test with them, and it's really interesting what it does. So it's scientifically proved that you can multitask. And the thing is to make a decision to not to multitask and to get focused. That is the thing, because we can only focus on one thing at one time. And we think we can do more. We cannot.
Yeah, prioritize them. I mean, eat that frog. You know, that's a great book. You know, eat that ugly frog. Then do the thing that you most don't want to do in the morning. Do it first thing, and then scale it down to the things that you really want to do. Because if you get that one thing and you can eliminate that horrible ugly thing, well, then the multitasking won't be so bad. Because if you're trying to do everything all at once, including that one big ugly thing every day, the one big ugly thing is going to keep getting the can is going to keep getting kicked down the road. Because it's like, I can do it later.
Yeah. Sure. All right. So, Craig, we'll have to move up our phone call the first thing tomorrow morning. So I was listening to, I know I'm a dick. So I was listening to a really good podcast where they interviewed Aaron Ross, who's the guy that wrote Predictable Revenue. Some of you might be familiar with that book. He's the guy that took Salesforce.com from 5 million to 100 million in sales back in the day, like mid 2000s. And he's since moved on to do consulting, and he works from home and all this stuff. He talked about how he avoids multitasking by scheduling out, like, so when you're a solopreneur, like, you can't specialize your sales roles, right? You don't have someone to hire that can do the prospecting for you. You don't have someone that can do the closing for you. So you can't specialize the roles yet, but what you can do is you can specialize your time. So he talks about how even for him, how he applied the concepts that he would teach big companies in terms of how to specialize their sales forces. He would apply it to himself, and he would say, okay, during this block of time, I'm only going to do outbound prospecting. During this block of time, I'm going to do this, because it's just the different mentalities and mindsets that you have for that. It takes that like level of focus of blocking out the time. And he pointed out these, like, and I didn't block out an hour. He says I would block out 2 to 4 hours. He's like, because the time that it takes to start something up and get focused and get in the groove, it takes longer than just putting an hour into something most of the time. Sure. And so that really had an impact on me in terms of just it confirmed my suspicions for my own schedule, which is that I need to get better at, like, when you think you need an hour to get something done, especially when it's a quantity of things that just have to be done. Yeah. Most of the time you have to it takes longer than you think, because you have to change from something else into that, and it takes a while to get into the flow and into the rhythm of doing it. And we wildly underestimate how important it is to get into that flow to get stuff done. And I think that's where multitasking hurts us so badly, is we never get into the flow on any one thing. Like, so like lead generation, people will set aside 2 hours, but that's not real lead generation. It's mostly make a call, then do a Facebook message, then do an email, then shuffle some paper around, then maybe get back to making a call. There's no rhythm, there's no flow to it, because they're constantly switching tasks.
Most people, I'd agree with you. Not so sour sitting over here, dude. She sits in and she'll get here at 9. She is on the dialer by 9:30, and she crushes that until she does 250 calls, and she'll have multiple properties set up. Like I looked over it a second ago and I was seeing what she was doing. Dude, right now she's looking at the MLS right now, hunting down her next victim. But that's the type of stuff that you need, that kind of hard driver, but a lot of people just don't have that will to sit down and just hammer it out. But why? Because it fucking sucks, dude. You get told no, you get rejection. It's not pretty. It's not sexy. You don't wear like good looking clothes to do it. Yeah, you can wear your stretchy pants and sit at your house. But I mean, in my personal opinion, that's winning. That's your thoughts.
I mean, that time blocking is so important. What I don't allow myself to see emails until 8:30 in the mornings anymore. And I'm up at 5 now. I'm up at 5 now, and I'm doing other things in the morning, a bit of exercising, meditating, things like that, and going through affirmations, just going through stuff like that. And then I have my first meeting at 7 a.m. in the morning, and I don't allow myself to see any emails because you know what it does? Those emails will take me away from what I was called to do at 7 a.m. There's something else in my mind. So number one, no emails until 8:30 in the morning anymore. That's it. And then I can only spend until 9 o'clock dealing with that kind of stuff. And then from 9 o'clock, my door closes, and on the outside of the door, please do not disturb. I'm doing my one thing. That's on my door. And I shut off email. I close it off. I close off notifications on my computer. So there's no notifications on my computer. And no one's coming to the door. And if someone comes to the door and I just carry on what I'm doing, I don't even look at them. I don't even look at them.
You just armbar them. You're like, no, one thing, leave me alone.
Exactly. So
interesting.
Because,
Kirk, what do you use to? Are you just in Gmail, and is it just a setting within Gmail, or are you using something like SaneBox or a plugin for your email to help you sort that and turn off the times when you can receive email.
Oh no, I shut the whole thing down, the window down.
Oh, you literally just don't open your email until 8:30.
Yeah.
So it's not that you can't, like, emails coming in, you don't even have the window.
I don't even open. No, absolutely not going to happen, because that one of the thieves, talks about 4 thieves, and one of the thieves is the inability to say no. Because we always want to say yes to people. Someone's just not going to do, oh, have you got a quick minute? Well, it's never a minute, it's an hour. It's never a New York minute. It's always an African minute. African time. There's no New York. It's African minute. I'm from Africa. I can say that. An African minute can be an hour. So there's, and we have this, because in all of us, in some way we want to help people. Okay, that's inside. Any good salesperson, inside of us, is we want to help people. So when somebody comes and asks for something, we have this thing in us that want to help somebody else. We want to do that. The problem is that we can't, and we mustn't. We can help them in certain time blocks, or call me at 12 o'clock, or come back at 11 o'clock, or blah, 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 blah. So in my market center with 260 agents, I've changed it that there are no meetings allowed between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. No meetings. Not one meeting. No training, no other meeting, no nasty meeting, no nice meeting, nothing. No cake, no nothing. It's from 9.
Cake.
No.
Nothing. No, don't say no cake.
Greg, I'll FedEx some cake to you to make sure you get it. Okay.
Oh my God.
And that's a big culture change, because we've got to change our culture, and if we're going to have time for fun and doing what we've got to do, we've got to do the work as well. And that's, I'm getting passionate about this stuff, because I've seen how it's affected my life. I'm far more productive by making these small little changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like having a better operating system. Just simple rules to live by. It doesn't take much, and it's not like you have to live by 10 or 20 or 30 different commandments, and they're all situated. But if you just have some basic rules that are better rules than the ones we typically have, because you mentioned one, Kurt, you mentioned the rule of, it's not nice to say no. That's kind of a rule that people live by, right? Which we do not want to not be nice. So what we end up doing is we put other people's priorities ahead of our own by saying yes to everything, yes to every interruption, yes to every email, yes to every text message, or whatever the case is. And we're not really doing them a service, and we're definitely not doing us a service. And ultimately, if we're not taking the time to put out our best work, we're ultimately doing ourselves and the world a disservice just by allowing those interruptions. So if you just change those simple rules around from, well, saying no makes me a bad person, right? Change that rule to saying no is my default setting, and I only say yes to the things that I'm really excited about, and only within specific windows, then it's going to make me better, and me being more productive is ultimately better for the world. It's a completely different, like a shift, but it's really just a change in one rule in how we, and how we approach our life. But then it affects everything from there without us really having to try to attack all those other things. We just change this one thing.
Sure, absolutely. Do you know Steve Jobs was a great nomad, and he became that. Steve Jobs, Apple in 1997 had 350 products, and they went 350 products, and he said no to 340 of them when he came back and took over the company. He said no to 340, focused on 10, and that's when Apple Mac really took off. And when they went down from 350 to by 340 to 10 products, that's when the life of that company changed. And we've got to say no to products. We've got to say no to appointments, certain appointments. That's why, even a good realtor will always qualify, that seller before even going out to the property. We must be willing to say, no, I'm not taking your listing. No, I'm not coming to that appointment. No, I want to give 1,000 no's. I want to give more no's than yeses. Because when I get a yes, oh my gosh, it's going to change my life. It's going to change my team's life. It's going to change everybody around me. So
what are a few of the things that you commonly see agents, since you've been training the one thing, that they're saying yes to consistently, and when they have that aha moment, they're comfortable with moving forward and saying no? Like, it's okay for me to say no. What are a couple of the things that maybe the people that are watching this live and the people that are watching this on the replay have in their life, and maybe you can jumpstart them like a car with jumper cables, and get them on the right path sooner than later?
Greg, I love the way you say that. I lived there.
I just noticed he didn't say where he's hooking up the jumper cables to, but we'll leave that off.
Well, so we can even talk about the thing of interruptions. Okay, let's say it's an agent. Let's say they're not even in a team, but they're at their desk and they're working on something, and somebody comes to them and says, hey, Kurt, you know what do you think about me doing an open house this weekend on Mother's Day? What do you think about me? Do you know what? Stop. Say, you know what? I can't see you right now, because the minute they've been interrupted, it takes so much time to get back into that thing what they were doing. And if they create a culture around them that people in the office start talking and saying, oh, don't disturb Kurt between that time and that time, because he's not even going to answer you. Next week, he won't even look at you. He can pretend you're not alive. And that's the biggest thing is interruptions. We get interrupted. So
I like that part. The pretending they're not alive part. I'm 100% on board with that.
Yes, you are.
And the thing is, do you know what it is? Do you know why people love to get interrupted? Everybody loves to get interrupted.
They don't like what they're doing at that point.
Well, they don't have to lead generate. Number one, They don't have to get a rejection on the phone. But the thing is that our brain is hungry for information. Our brain just wants more information. That's why people gossip so much or whatever. Our brain is always hungry for information. So if somebody comes and interrupts them, the person who sits on a computer and works on a computer all day is interrupted 37 times an hour. They change windows. 37 times. 37 times an hour they change windows. Interesting. Wow. They're only 60 minutes. Very interesting for a person who's sitting at a thing, because the brain is so hungry. And this was tested scientifically, by the way. So it's not just some number somebody just took out. They tested a whole lot of people. 37 times change windows, because we are hungry for information. So that's why people, because the minute we bring more information in, there's dopamine released in our brain that makes us feel good. So the minute something's new, because our brains are always hungry for adventure and to create. So the minute something new coming in, I feel good, because we always move towards pleasure, right, and away from pain. Or can I say we move from more pain to less pain, if I can say that. And okay. For example, if an agent doesn't want to call somebody, but they know that they're not going to be able to pay their mortgage, so I better start calling people, whatever. It's from more pain to less pain generally. I think that's what when we train ourselves that no, it's not a great feeling to be interrupted, and train our brains. We've got to train our brains to rethink, and to say, no, I'm not going to get excited about someone interrupting me or bringing new information or telling me news, or guess what that person did. Can you believe that person was knocking that one up? People get excited at the office, talk about every damn thing, and it's just holding us back.
You know what? I completely agree with you on that one. I wanted to bring up a funny point. When you were talking about telling people to go away and not bother you, I used to work in a bar as a bouncer, and we had taser guns, like it was shoot out the coils and the prongs. Just quietly be doing your call, just whip out your taser gun, and just zap them, drop them like a sack of potatoes. And if anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, I will drop a link in here for you guys. So you guys use this on your comrades at arms if they decide to interrupt your fucking marketing hour. See how many times they come over and talk to you from now on. One of the
get something else, dude.
Oh man.
One of the things that
God forbid you work in Greg's office. I'm just beware. That's all I'm saying. Man,
well, that's why that door is always closed.
It is always closed. I've been in your office. Yeah. Now, granted, I have the one time I've toured your office. Let's just say you didn't have a lot of risk of being interrupted because there weren't a lot of agents in there working.
That's because it's a real estate office.
Yeah.
The thing that I found is that people on average get interrupted every 2 minutes, and it takes them 11 minutes to get concentrating back onto that task. Then every 2 minutes they get re-interrupted and like out of it. Now another 11 minutes deep. Now I'm back on track, and it's that evil cycle. That's why that door's locked, and I lock that door sometimes, and I close those blinds. Look, I don't care what you have to talk to me about. Get out. Unless you are going to pay my bills, get out.
That's right. If it doesn't make me happy or make me money,
you got to go.
All right, so let me ask you this, Kurt. Let's bring it down to your level. So you're getting into speaking. You're taking the message of the one thing to real estate, mortgage, corporate audiences, all this kind of stuff. So you're getting out there and doing some speaking. So you've got a lot of opportunity around you, and then you have your core activities, being a team leader in the office and all this stuff. So you have a lot of opportunities. So how do you evaluate and determine what opportunities you go for and what ones don't fit into what you're doing?
Oh, Matt, just a great question. Okay. And because to be able to answer that, I've got to know what I'm looking for. What am I looking for? So my main thing is, will I go and speak anywhere? Number one. No, I won't go and speak anywhere where I want. Number one, there's got to be a strong relationship that I know that, you see, because I believe that what I'm called to do is to touch 1 million people's lives in the next 20 years. That's my passion. So if it doesn't fit into that, and if that person can't say, Kurt, come and speak here, whatever, but I'm going to introduce you to other people, or I want you to meet other people. If it's not going to be growing into something, perhaps that's not the road I'm going to go into, unless I know that there are a lot of people that I can impact then, and that their lives can change. And then I'm juggling a lot of things at the moment. I've got a lot of things at me all the time, every single day. And the question is, my big question is, what's my one thing that I can do so that other things are unnecessary or will be a lot easier. What's my one thing? And I'm asking that question in every hour. I first had to ask it once a day, but I'm training my mind to start asking my question: what's the one thing in this next hour that I can do, or for that week? I was 3 weeks in South Africa, and I said, okay, what's the one thing? Well, I spent time with my family was a big one. And then I'm going to speak at some events. I'm going to establish some relationships and do networking. What's my one thing for that day? And the question is, what's my one thing? And I believe we've got to train ourselves to ask ourselves that more often. What's the one thing today that I want to achieve? What's the one thing this morning? What's the one thing this weekend? What's the one thing? Whatever, it might be family, it might be fitness, it might be running with Greg around the office to increase the fit. What is the one thing?
Getting away from the taser, keeping up your steps on the Fitbit. It's a whole
thing. So
I like it.
And we all live in that kind of world. Doesn't matter what your position is. We've all got so many things flying at us, and unless we stop and ask ourselves and we plan that out, we are just going to become average people. We're not going to become extraordinary. Extraordinary people line up their dominoes. They ask, what's the first domino? What's the most important domino right now this morning? Because life doesn't give you a book. Well, I'm going to line up all the dominoes for you today. No, we've got to find that domino ourselves. What's that first domino? What is it today? What's that first domino this hour or this morning or this, when I'm going to lead generate from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock? What's the first domino that I've got to achieve this? What is it? Expired, I'm going to call? Is it, just listed? What I'm going to do? So, and for me, recruiting as well,
Yeah.
One of the things I like to do, I love to get my no's. The Go for No book has radically transformed me and the way I view it. And Matt, I got some amazing, Facebook messages from folks that are using it. Ryan's one of them. There's a couple other guys that are using it. It's radically transformed their life. Deb is another one that's really working well for. But my one thing, Kurt, to what your point was, is that I want to get my certain amount of no's every single day. My personal goal for this year, not the team, me personally, I want to do 30 deals. At 1 million plus, that's a lot of volume. And plus, not to mention what the rest of the team is going to do. But that's some hustle and grind, man. That's why I come in on Saturdays and I do prospecting calls. I take Sundays off because I'm a lazy bastard and I want to watch TV and have a cocktail and barbecue. But I don't think it's a horrible thing. But I mean, you line up your one thing. And I love what you were talking about because it goes back to goal setting. Every hour on the hour, review what your one thing is or review your top goals. Because then your subconscious mind is going to override your conscious mind and go, I like this new thing so much more. Let's go make it happen. Like you do a meditation in the morning. I do a thing called meridian tapping and releasing energy out of my system. No, it's not crystals and woo-woo, guys. It's legitimate science, okay? My team is laughing at me, by the way. But I do meridian tapping, and I release negative energy out of certain aspects of my life every single day. It's amazing to see what happens just doing that. And now I'm reviewing my goals on a more consistent basis. Incredible things, Kurt. I'm sure you can attest to this, and Matt, I know you can too. Amazing things will take place in your life once you have a direction and a goal. And in Kurt, in your case, a one thing. Yep. So guys, sit down right now once you get done with this podcast, and I want you to write out and be honest with yourself. What's your one thing? What's that one thing that you want more than anything in life? And then you can have all these things up here running, but they all have to focus down into that one thing. You can have the wide open trough, but it funnels down to one specific thing. Health, wealth, happiness, what is it going to be? So I think so many people, like you said, Kurt, they have 1,000 things running, and they're multitasking mentally and psychologically, and that's why they get cobwebs and foggy heads, because they don't know which direction to go in. And I mean, for me, my one thing is I want to be unfucking believably wealthy. I want to be a household name for helping people achieve their dreams in the shortest amount of time, so they can go live their dreams and I can live my dreams. And I'm willing to sacrifice. Matt and I have talked about this several times. You know, he and I have shared goals on certain things, and we're willing to give up other things. We're willing to say no to other aspects of our life because we focus on one thing. And I think that's amazing that you're preaching this around, and I know that you're helping thousands and thousands of agents. And I'm pumped you're on the show today with us, man, because you've helped me relook at again and understand again, like, I've got to get focused. I've got to focus down more and more and more, stopping the scatterbrain. Because all of us on this show right now, dude, we're scatterbrains just as much as everybody else. You know what? We've learned how not to be. And we have the tools. And I just want to personally thank you for coming on, man. This has really, really been helpful personally to me.
It's great to be here. Great to meet you, Greg, and with Matt as well. It's been really good. Yeah. Can I say one more thing, Matt?
Well, yes, and then remind people how they can connect with you too.
Sure. So, do you know those oil lamps? Those kind of lamps that you get. You have oil in the bottom, and you've got a wick. And my grandfather's brother taught me this as a kid. He said to me, "What happens when that oil runs out? What's going to happen?" And I said, "Well, the flame's going to die." And he taught me. He said, "No, the flame's not going to die." And you know what happens? The oil runs dry but the wick starts burning. The lamp doesn't go out. And that's so many, like, you know, us. We've only got so much oil, but we carry on, and the oil's gone down, but the wick is still burning. And that's when we want to give up and quit what we're doing, change our jobs, change our careers, because we're burning the wick. And I see the whole of America in this thing, because Americans only take 2 weeks vacation a year. You know, we just work all the time. And I've said to my staff, I want you to increase the amount of time you take off, double the amount of time you take off, double it. I want you to take weekends off from a Thursday night to a Monday night every 2 months. I want you to go away, because we need to replenish that, and we need to get back. You know, that's why the one thing's important: taking time to rest, have fun. We need more fun and laughter and exercise and all things like that. So Matt and Greg, anybody can get hold of me. It's kurtfrancis.com. kurtfrancis.com. That's KurtFrancis.com, or my cell phone number 858-229-9180. That's 858-229-9180. And thank you for privilege. You guys are hilarious. But just watch out, I'm going to kidnap you both. I think you're amazing.
Well, thank you. I will make sure I have my taser on me.
Oh my God. All right. So first of all, let me thank everyone that was watching with us, which there was a ton of people we had on live, and we had comments kind of flying back and forth, and people laughing at Greg, literally posting the link to the taser that he had in mind in the Facebook comments, which was funny. But anyway, guys, so connect with us on the website, McDanielRealEstateSystems.com, because there's two things there. Number one is Greg's favorite scripts, which is absolutely free. That is a free download PDF with all the scripts, as well as links to the videos where Greg goes through the scripts, so you can hear the phrasing and the tonality. And we've got our high-touch real estate farming video series there as well. That is under $100, and that is 8.5 hours of solid, intense, overwhelming video content. But the whole point is to give you the soup to nuts version of how you can essentially dominate a geographic or demographic area that you want to go after. So that's all there on the website. And then, of course, you can subscribe to the show on YouTube, iTunes, or Stitcher. And Greg, how do people connect with you?
Follow me, baby. Follow me, not in the stalkerish way. I do have a taser. But yeah, follow me on Facebook, guys, so you guys can know when I go live. Like right after this at 4:30 today. I generally on Monday through Thursday I do live prospecting. I'm out of jail. I can actually do it again. Not physical jail. I didn't get arrested.
That's live prospecting jail. Yeah.
Yes. But guys, I'm going to be doing some live prospecting, so follow me on Facebook, and you guys be alerted every time that I do that. Also, send me a text. Don't send me a text message. Send me Facebook messages, because I can respond to you video, audio, or written text. And let's see what we can do.
And from the car, much to the detriment of the rest of society.
What?
I said you can respond to those Facebook messages from the car.
Yes, I can. I can do it anywhere. Like, hey, what's going on? And I know my friend Stevie. Every time she sees me doing something on video, she's like, "That's not safe, Greg." I'm like, "Yes, it is, Stevie. I drive very well." And Stevie, I'm coming for you, girl. It's a Fitbit, and I know how to use it. I'm not afraid to use it. So boom. All right, guys, I love you. That's why we always do this thing. You know what? Matt and I joke around. We bounce around up here. We have wonderful guests like Kurt that come on to the show and deal with us. When I say us, I mean me. And Matt's like, oh God, how do I not? Please don't embarrass this guest. Please don't. Oh, he did it. Oh, he did it. But we do all at a jest. We love you guys beyond words.
Yeah.
We want to see you guys grow into the wonderful, incredible, powerful agents that you are, and you are becoming. And Ryan, August, to you, my friend, dude, you are just slaying it out there. Just keep up the great work. I see incredible things. And to all the rest of you guys, you know what? Just reach out. If you honestly think I won't reach back, watch what will happen. If you're like, oh my God, you answer. I'm like, no shit, I told you I'd answer. So reach out. Matt's cell phone, if you want to reach Matt, is 402.
Yeah, good luck with that. I have my voicemail set up. Oh my God.
All right, let's wrap it up, man. Let's put a bow on this baby cakes.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate it.
Yes. We will see you guys Wednesday. We love you. Kurt, you're awesome. All right, guys. Peace. We're out of here.